this is Shirley Solis with ShirleySolis.com, and on this Thanksgiving Day I want to share a story that I found out yesterday when I was reading out loud to my kids. So I chose a book from our family library, and I think it's called Turkeys, Pilgrims, and Indian Corn, and it's just an old book that I found at a library one time. As I was reading out loud to them, I found out something that I didn't know. I had always learned that the very first Thanksgiving was proclaimed by President Washington, and that is indeed true. I mean, when we celebrate Thanksgiving, we talk about the Pilgrims, and we speak of the Plymouth and Massachusetts colonies separately, having Thanksgivings and how they celebrated and they survived their first winter here in a new land, and because of that we are able to celebrate Thanksgiving. Well, here is a little bit more of the story behind that. After that first Thanksgiving, time in the United States or in this new land was so difficult for so many of these newcomers that they constantly had days of Thanksgiving. I mean, there were so many things that they were thankful for because life was indeed challenging in this new land. There was new territory they didn't know of, new people they had to meet, encounter, make connections with, new land that they had to learn how to work, and new jobs and build houses for themselves. So indeed there was a lot of trials and difficulties, new diseases that they had encountered, sickness, and so there was a lot to be thankful for constantly. So often what I read in this book is that there were so many things that they were constantly thankful for, and they would often have days of Thanksgiving, and they were days of fasting and prayer. Now, we do know of that first Thanksgiving that the Pilgrims celebrated. Well, if you fast forward to George Washington, President Washington was the first president to proclaim a Thanksgiving Day on November 26th, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you fast forward 70 or so years after that, and there were different presidents, President Madison, that had proclaimed days of Thanksgiving. Some had been in October, some had been in July, etc. But there was not one particular day that was always the day of Thanksgiving. They were just done whenever because of different reasons. Now, we fast forward to the time of the Civil War, and President Lincoln is faced with the situation between the North and the South. Now, there was a lady behind the scenes in this entire situation, and her name is Sarah Hale. Her name was Sarah Hale. Sarah Josepha Hale was a woman who had grown up in a home. She became a widow and was left with 5 children, but she knew that the only thing that could help support her family was to write. So she became an editor for a magazine. She wrote several books, poetry for children, children's books, and through the process she realized how important Thanksgiving was. In fact, every single year she wrote an important editorial in a magazine regarding Thanksgiving. Well, she made it her mission towards the end of her life to really bring together and to connect with every governor of the United States to try to influence them to create a one day that the entire nation would come together for Thanksgiving. Now, she particularly contacted President Lincoln to try to get him to create that one day, and she thought that the last Thursday of the month of November was the best month because there was no longer sickness, there was no longer the sicknesses from the summer months, no more allergies. She said there was also the time of harvest, so she thought the last Thursday of November was the best day. So she was very bold, and she wrote to President Lincoln, and she said this one day that if we as a nation could celebrate one day together, it will bring unity to the nation. Now, President Lincoln, when the war was over, decided and proclaimed the last Thursday of the month in the month of November to be the Thanksgiving Day. And ever since that day forward, we have celebrated Thanksgiving on November, the last Thursday of November. Now, I don't know if you knew that story, but that was very interesting to me because I didn't know about this woman named Sarah. I didn't know that she was so important, and that as a woman she saw the importance of bringing the country and the nation together. So if you are watching this video today, I know that you're a powerful woman. I know that you're a woman that has influence, and I want to bring to your attention how this one woman could entirely shift the nation, could entirely shift what the separation that this nation was struggling with, and and she made a move, and she was bold, and she didn't think of herself as just a homemaker, as a widow, and she didn't feel sorry for herself, but she thought very high, and she continued to move forward until she was able to get this day proclaimed so that we can continue to celebrate it as a nation today. So with that in mind, I want to celebrate you, and I want to give thanks for you, because this entire year I've had the opportunity to meet so many amazing and powerful women who, along with their husbands, are leading strong and powerful families. So I want to give thanks for you. I want to give thanks for the life that I'm living. I want to give thanks for my husband, who is an incredible man, and for my family, for my children, who are healthy and amazing and powerful. And I want to give thanks for my health and for the opportunity to live in this country, who is able to give me so much freedom, so much liberty, so much abundance of life, and for my relationship with God, because without my relationship with God, I wouldn't be who I am today. So thank you for everyone that is watching. I hope that you've enjoyed the story, and that tonight you'll celebrate it with your family, so that you would know that there was a woman behind being able to celebrate what we celebrate today. So continue to give thanks, and definitely share this with others to let them know behind this power, the story of this powerful woman named Sarah Hale. All right, until next time, take care and God bless you. Bye.